So I just realized that I did this whole video and never hit record. So here we go again. Hey everyone, Andy here from Luminary Wealth. So while the coronavirus already seems like something of the past, the economic impact is still being felt by a lot of people. Business owners are coming up on that 8-week time frame where their expenses may be eligible for loan forgiveness under the Paycheck Protection Program. And a lot of people are still confused on how this loan forgiveness is going to work. Fortunately, there is a bill in the works titled the Paycheck Protection Program Flexibility Act, which would modify some of the guidelines outlined in the original bill. This bill passed the House on May 28th, and it's expected to be voted on by the Senate soon, hopefully this week. So some of the things in here may be tweaked, but I think the heart of it will stay the same. So number one, the program would be extended from June 30th to December 31st. So if funds are still available, people would still be able to apply and incur expenses up until December 31st, as opposed to the original end date of June 30th. Also, the time period in which you can incur forgivable expenses would be increased from 8 weeks to 24 weeks. So that kind of takes away that question of whether or not you need to prepay expenses to use up the full loan amount within that 8-week time frame. Now, you don't have to use 24 weeks. You can still use that first 8 weeks as originally planned, but you have the option to extend it to 24 weeks if needed. And then the percentage of the loan required to be used for payroll costs would be decreased from 75% to 60%. So that means you could use up to 40% for things like rent, utilities, etc. This bill would also modify some of the rehiring requirements. So the deadline to rehire would be extended from June 30th to December 31st. And there would be some flexibility for businesses that had trouble getting employees back and they made an offer to have employees come back, or they weren't able to find a suitable replacement, or they weren't able to get back up to normal operations due to compliance requirements or safety requirements around COVID-19. This bill would also modify the loan maturity. So for the amount of loan that's not forgiven and remains a loan, businesses would have at least 5 years to pay that back instead of the initial 2. And the first payment on that loan could be deferred up to 10 months instead of the original 6 months. So this gives businesses a longer period of time to start paying that loan back. And finally, this bill would allow for the deferral of employer payroll taxes, even for businesses that had their loan forgiven under the Paycheck Protection Program. Previously, this was not allowed. If you had your loan forgiven, you couldn't defer payroll taxes. That exclusion is basically being dismissed, allowing businesses to defer employer payroll taxes to 2021 and 2022. Now, keep in mind, this hasn't passed the Senate yet, so they could make some changes to this, but hopefully this gives you a good idea of what to expect. Hopefully it was informative. Take care of yourself this week and those around you. Talk soon.